begins.
But
In
then,
the begin.
but then,
Ma'am, am I allowed to answer you or not?
But you're not making sense. You say the same
well,
thing
then why are you
over and
wasting
over
your
and
time
over
standing here
again?
talking to me if
Because
I'm not
look at
making
all
sense?
these people here who have questions. There's
Fine, then why don't you let me go on to other people? If I don't make sense, ma'am, why do you waste your time?
Why am I going to let you misguide them with your misguidance?
Oh, I see. So you have to sort of be a parasite who comes in here and just feeds off the people who are listening to me talk?
Absolutely, why not? You've already made a fool of yourself here anyways.
Why, that's pretty sad. Why can't you just be open and honest and have an honest dialogue?
Let me explain this.
Yep, okay.
Going on, welcome to the channel. And today we're reacting to a man named Cliff Mitchell. I think that's how you say his last name, Mitchell. And he's debating this young lady. She's Muslim. And the topic is eternal contradiction. And personally, as a Christian, I don't believe there's any eternal contradictions within the Bible. But obviously, from the outside looking in, when you read certain scriptures, it may seem as if there's some contradictions. But obviously, when you read the Bible, context is important. But I think he does a pretty good job of explaining the topic at hand. So we're gonna let him do his thing, and we're gonna react to it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the first thing about taking a book as a proof for your belief. You said no internal contradictions. How well do you know this book? I got this from your friend the other day. It's the Bible for all of you who don't know. I don't know which version it is. I don't know who's writing, who decided what to put it in here. We'll read John 1:17, 18. Do you know this one? I'll read what it says here. It says, no one has ever seen God, but God is the one and only who is at the Father's side has made him known. Right here, it says, no one has ever seen God, okay? Mm-hmm. You believe that? You take that? You want to read it? That's your book. This is what you take.
You bet.
Right here, same chapter, John 5:19.
Right.
It says here, Jesus gave them this answer. I tell you the truth, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing. No one sees, he only does what he sees. Internal contradiction. So then this book has internal contradictions. Can we agree on that? Oh, you don't say yes or no answers. What do you
Sorry, can't agree with you on that. So obviously what she's doing is taking one verse and another verse and completely taking them out of context. So when you read and study the Bible, the one thing it's important is context. Now, what is the context of the Gospel of John? The context is that John is speaking about Jesus' deity, of being a son of God. Now, she just read John chapter 1, verse 18, where it says, no one has ever seen God. Well, he's pointing out that no human being has ever seen God. But he's saying that there is a relationship between God the Father and God the Son. And then John chapter 5, verse 19, where it said, Jesus only sees what the Father does. She's thinking of physically seeing what Jesus sees, but it's not talking about that. He's claiming to be God. And this whole gospel, John chapter 5, actually from verses 19 through 24, Jesus makes 3 claims of him being God. And one of them is of forgiving sin. The other one is how he's able to judge, forgive. He judge. He does these miracles. He raises the dead. And there's no other person in the Bible that was able to do these things than Jesus did. So it's interesting that she chose those 2 verses and completely taken them out of context. But anyway, let's see what Cliff has to say.
Say about this internal contradiction?
One of the basic principles of interpreting any book is you have to read in context. And obviously, when you read John chapter 1, the main point is Jesus is God in human form. He begins.
Ma'am,
am I allowed to answer you or not?
But you're not making sense. You say the same
well,
thing
then why are you
over
wasting
and
your time
over
standing here
again?
talking to me if I'm not making sense?
Because look at all these people here who have questions. There's
Fine,
too
then why
many
don't you let me go on to
here
other
who you
people? If I don't make sense, ma'am, why do you waste your time?
Why am I going to let you misguide them with your misguidance?
Oh,
I'd
I
rather
see.
sit here and
So
use
you have to
logic
sort of
and
be a
understand
parasite
it.
who comes in here and just feeds off the people who are listening to me talk?
Absolutely, why not? You've
Well,
already
that's
made a
pretty
fool of
sad.
yourself here anyways.
Why, that's pretty sad.
I'm
Why
not
can't
gonna
you just
own
be
to
open
you.
and honest and have an honest dialogue?
Let me explain this.
Yep,
Go ahead.
okay.
Explain this.
Please explain.
Thank you.
Okay.
John chapter 1. John begins with the words, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God."
Yes.
Crystal clearly, John 1:1 is stating the deity of Christ. The word there is Christ. The Greek word is logos. Obviously, by reading John 1, you know he's talking about Christ. Obviously, he's hearkening right back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, which says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." John is taking that and putting it in Greek. John 1:1, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Nobody has seen God. I haven't seen God. You haven't seen God. But the claim of John is, and the claim of Jesus is, that he is God, revealing himself in human form. That's clearly, unmistakably what John 1 is teaching. And you don't have to have a PhD in New Testament. Just read it yourself,
But
and you'll figure that out.
John. It's both John. I didn't flip to even a different chapter. It's 2 pages away. Both John saying, one saying no one sees God, the other one saying Jesus sees God. Is it saying Jesus sees himself? Is this something that everyone who
Yes,
reads the
that's
Bible
exactly
and takes
right.
it as their
Jesus
own
is
are supposed
claiming to be
understand?
God, revealing himself in human form. That's his
And
claim.
he sees himself.
No, you're
Why
not
would
God.
John write that?
You're not God.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Well, if you die and rise from the dead, I will listen very closely to
Why
everything
is
you
that
have
the
to say.
only why is that the one thing that you take? Why
Did
don't
you
you
see
take
George Washington inaugurated first president of the United States?
Other people did. I trust that.
Good.
Man, she said, why is that the only thing that we fall on? Well, the whole faith is based on the resurrection. Without that, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have Christianity. It's based on the death and resurrection of Christ. If Jesus would have just died and never came back, then most of us wouldn't be believers. But because he rose again on the third day and claimed to be God, so with that he redeemed mankind, and our whole faith is based upon that. And she's like, why is that the only thing? That's the main reason why we believe, because he resurrected. Jesus said, if I was raised from the dead, then you will be raised from the dead also, if you believe in me. So it's, I know it's hard for non-believers from either different faiths or people who just don't believe in particular, just flat out atheist or agnostic. I know it's hard for them to understand because, in 1 Corinthians 2nd chapter, it talks about the natural man is unable to receive the things of God because they are foolishness unto them. Everything he's talking about, Jesus claiming to be God, to her is just complete and utter foolishness. So it's hard for them to understand because they don't have the Holy Spirit within them. But let's continue.
And other people saw Christ die on a cross and they saw him risen from the dead.
But they have internal contradictions.
No,
within
there's
their
no
same
contradiction
chapter.
there. We human beings do not see God, but when God chose to become a human being in Jesus Christ, obviously Jesus knew the Father very, very intimately, very, very well. In the Quran, we read, Jesus is a good prophet, he is not God. The problem is the historical Jesus claimed to be God.
That to be an internal contradiction is on one page it says something, on a different page it says something else. Like the gentleman that left mentioned about the creation.
You're
how
right.
creation came
The
about.
Quran
That's
does not
internal
contradict itself, I agree.
reference. So then
But
we'll
it
go to point number two.
contradicts
Point number
the
two.
historical evidence that Jesus claimed to be God.
Claimed. From what, John and Joseph and Mike and whoever?
That's right, man. And that's the only thing. That's the only way I can know anything historically. Historical knowledge is based on the trustworthiness of eyewitness testimony.
So then why take what John and those people said 500 years before what Muhammad came with?
That's exactly why.
Wait, I don't get what she said. Like, why would we believe? Well, John was an eyewitness. So was Peter. So was James. You know, a lot of these apostles were actually with Jesus. They walked with him. They heard him talk. They heard him preach. They seen the miracles he performed. They even seen when the Holy Spirit came out of heaven and he was filled with the Holy Spirit after he was baptized. I mean, and they heard the voice from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." They seen Christ they seen him on the mount where he was speaking with Elijah and Moses. I think that's where it says, "With this is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." That might be the one. I might have got that confused. But the point is that they were eyewitnesses. They seen this happen. They heard everything, which is why they were able to make these claims about Christ. It is based on truth. Let's continue.
I trust John because he lived with Jesus. Muhammad was the dude who never met Jesus.
doesn't it
John
come-
met Jesus,
but
listened to Jesus.
But doesn't it
Exactly.
come with time that things like that become more inaccurate? Jesus' book isn't here. Jesus' book is not here.
Yes, the Gospels
The
of
same
Matthew,
way.
Mark, Luke, and John
The
were written
same-
in the first century.
Okay, Moses' book,
Eyewitnesses.
the Torah.
That's what I want when it comes to historical
Moses'
knowledge.
book, the Torah, right? Did Jesus believe in the Torah? Did Jesus follow Moses?
Yes, Jesus
And-
believed the Torah was the Word of God, very
So
clearly.
then why do you accept Jesus as a successor of Moses and you don't accept Muhammad as a successor of Jesus?
Because Muhammad contradicted.
Well, yeah, so he's saying that Muhammad contradicted Jesus, which is true. But also Jesus said that someone greater has come. Someone greater than Moses has come. He says in the Gospel of Matthew, I believe. He's like, someone greater has come. So Jesus is greater than Moses. I know it's like, why would we believe Moses over Jesus? Well, Jesus is the Son of God. He died on the cross for the sins of the world. Moses didn't do that. And you know, interesting, Moses did have an encounter with God twice. Where one, he appeared to Moses as the burning bush. That's in Exodus chapter 3. But obviously that was a manifestation. And then there's the other part of Exodus. I think it's the 33rd chapter, where he comes face to face with God. Now, this may raise another person to say, well, isn't that a contradiction with John chapter 1 verse 18? No one has seen God. But then Moses was face to face with him. Well, no, it's not, because it was a manifestation. Because like they would not be able to handle the divine essence of God. No man would. It would probably be vaporized, or it'd be probably melt from his holiness. So, but yeah, let's continue.
Did Jesus?
But you don't have any way to tell whether or not what Jesus came with is the exact same as what Moses came with, because the book Moses came with is not the same today as it was at the time. Can you agree with me on that?
No, that made no sense
Yes,
to me.
of
I'm
course
sorry,
it
I'm not
did.
smart enough to figure out
Of
what you
course
just
it
said
did.
there. Makes no sense to me.
Okay,
What
do
on
you,
earth did
right
you just
now,
say?
Right now, the book that Moses came with.
Yes?
Do you agree Jesus
He didn't come
memorized
with
it?
anything. He wrote something.
He didn't write anything. It was revealed to him.
Baloney. Moses
It was
wrote.
revealed to him.
No book floated out of
So
heaven to
then what
Moses.
makes him a prophet?
Moses wrote.
What makes him a prophet? The fact that he was a self-claimed prophet? He was a good writer? There's plenty of good writers. That doesn't make them prophets.
Goodness gracious, man. No way.
What
Do I
is your
accept this
definition of a
kind
prophet?
of floating out of heaven
What?
book that you do?
No one's saying it's floating out of heaven. I
Well, then
told
what
you
are
that
you
it's
saying?
revealed through angels. Do you believe
Moses
angels?
wrote.
For real, what is she
No,
saying?
an angel didn't write the Torah.
No one said
Moses
an angel
wrote it.
it.
He
No
wrote it,
one
not
said
an angel.
wrote it.
And no angel wrote the New Testament either. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter.
Look at the guy right there drinking the Monster, the white dude. Jesus, he loves drama, man. Man, that's funny.
James wrote the New Testament.
So what makes someone a prophet? And not a random great writer?
What makes someone a prophet is that God inspires them. And there's absolutely no way that I can show you who a prophet is. If this
Well, I think a good prophet to use, or all the prophets actually in the Bible, but I think the one that I usually think that are good, I think Jeremiah is a good prophet to use because he prophesied the 70-year captivity to the nation, to the southern kingdom of Judah. There was judgment coming to them because they have turned from God. They went into idolatry, and now they're going to be going to captivity by the Babylonians, which was led by King Nebuchadnezzar. Actually, the prophet Daniel, he actually has a vision or a dream about the Babylonian kingdom coming into power, where it was a dream of him of a statue made of different types of golds and metals, the head of gold, silver chest and arms, bronze waist and thighs, the iron legs, and iron feet mixed with clay. Those all represented a timeline of different kingdoms. And the head of gold was King Nebuchadnezzar, which, if you read the historical evidence, is that they came and conquered Jerusalem. They came and conquered the southern kingdom of Judah. And Daniel, so Jeremiah lived to see that happen, and Daniel the prophet lived through the whole 70-year captivity. And obviously that one prophecy in Daniel with the statue actually hasn't been fulfilled yet. It's actually still in the making, because in the end of his dream or vision, a giant rock comes out of the heaven and strikes the statue at the feet of iron mixed with clay, which destroys the statue. And then that rock grows into a giant mountain, and it reigns over the heavens forever and ever, which that speaks of Christ. That kingdom, speaking of the second coming of Christ to establish the kingdom in the world, the millennial kingdom. So, to me, those are pretty good prophecies. Those are my go-to prophecies. When someone asks us, like, well, how do you know he's a good prophet? How do you know he was real? I mean, those are pretty, to me, those are pretty solid. But anyways.
This guy claims to be a prophet. I can't just blindly say, yes, he's a prophet, or no, he's not a prophet. I have to observe how he lives his life. I have to listen to what he believes.
So again, we'll talk about what makes someone a prophet. Your definition of a prophet, and I'll follow with mine. You said a good writer.
No, I didn't.
But again, so we're
A
all on the
prophet
same
is
page.
someone who's inspired by God, but I can't show you that someone's inspired by God. It's impossible.
So this is something in your own heart.
I can't show you that a book is inspired by God. And don't you understand? That's why it's so hard for you and me to have an
It is.
intelligent conversation.
Okay.
Because you just lapse into,
Can I answer your-
this
can
is
I
inspired
answer-
by God,
can I
this is
answer
from
your-
God, this is from an angel.
Well,
Well,
listen.
fine, but there's no way you can
Listen,
show that.
Okay, you're here right now. The purpose of you coming here is to quote unquote guide misguided people. I talked to the people who brought you, and they said your point is not to convert people to Christianity. Your point is to get atheists and agnostics to believe in Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
and you, I pray
Well,
you
then-
come to believe
well,
in Jesus,
I
man.
believe in Jesus. I don't
You
believe
reject
in
him
Jesus
as
how
God.
You
You don't accept his death
I
on the
believe
cross
in
for your
Jesus.
sin.
Okay, but we'll go here. You're here to take people to believe in Jesus. But you just said right now that you can't explain to someone that a book is inspired by God or someone else is inspired by God. So why are you here?
There is absolutely no way that any human being can prove that any book has been inspired by God.
Then why are you here to tell us to believe in the Bible?
Because I am convinced that to believe in God and to believe in Jesus does not mean you have to first believe that a book is inspired by God.
So I'm supposed
You
to take
cannot
you
blindly
as the
believe
reference
anything
between
in
me
life.
and Jesus?
And to blindly believe that the Quran or the Bible or any book has been inspired by God is such a leap of faith. I'm not asking anybody to do that.
Okay, so can we have the second part of our deal? I said I'd explain to you what a prophet is.
Sure.
A prophet is someone who comes with something extraordinary that combats everything at the time in proof of his claim. So many people came claiming they were prophets, And they did things that didn't prove their claim. The prophet Muhammad, first of all, we'll start off with Jesus, who we both agree with. Jesus was born without a father.
How do you know that?
Miracle number one.
How do you know that?
Revealed in the Quran, and when he spoke.
Revealed in the Quran,
No.
500 years after
Listen,
the
when
fact,
he spoke-
all of a sudden, because some dude says he was born without a father, you believe it?
Okay, fine. You don't believe that Jesus was born without a father. You don't.
I can promise you, ma'am, I'm not going to believe Jesus was born without a father because some dude who lived 500 years after Christ writes it in a book.
Okay, so then we'll stop right there. Forget everything about Muhammad. Do Christians believe that Jesus was born without a father?
Yeah, but not because some dude 500 years after the fact wrote it, that's for sure.
But then what do they take as their belief for Jesus?
Well, Jesus was virgin born. That's when you read in the Gospels. When you read about the genealogy, Jesus' genealogy in Matthew, it shows that he is the King, the Messiah. He came from the bloodline of David. He came out of the tribe of Judah, just like David. So that proves that he is the true Messiah. Luke, the genealogy of Luke, where it starts with his mother Mary, it points to him being fully human. So it points to him being fully human because he was born from Mary. It was his mom. But Joseph was not Jesus' father. Couldn't have been his father. Because then I think he would have been corrupt human. He would have been corrupt just like the rest of us. But he was a man who knew no sin, became sin for us. So he had to come from God. He had to be virgin born.
Jesus being born without a
Because
father.
eyewitnesses who knew Jesus' mother, a woman named Mary, talked with her. They talked with Joseph, and they found out that indeed Mary was a virgin when Jesus was born.
So then we take.
It's not something they made up 500 years later.
Okay, so then
It's something that they found from eyewitness talking.
So do we take that? We take Jesus being born without a father as a miracle. That's proof
Yes.
he's a prophet. That's proof he's a prophet, correct?
No,
Why?
just because a miracle happens doesn't mean the dude's a prophet.
Why?
He could be a false
So
prophet.
then why
Miracles happen to
why
false
doesn't your mom
prophets.
have a son without a father? What miracles happen to false prophets? We'll go over that right now. What miracles happen to false prophets?
Man, if you get in the occult, you can go to seances, and demonic powers are shown, supernatural powers are shown. You can go a lot of places on this planet.
But
How
we're
are they
not talking about
shown?
magic.
How
We're
are
not
they
talking about
shown?
magic.
How are they shown?
Yeah, how are they shown? Like,
All right, I'll tell you how.
factually.
You
How
bet.
can you show it in substance?
You bet.
No, answer.
I went to a
Not
prep
just-
school.
No, answer.
I am answering you.
Come on.
I went
Where
to a
can you
prep
find it
school
factually, though?
here in Connecticut.
Who's this guy he's talking to? Came out of left field, man. See, man, he's just as bad as the other chick, man. Man, you can tell that they are not willing to just hear an answer. They just want to just argue, which you can tell that there's something within them manifesting because when they hear the name of Jesus, it just angers them for some reason. They become so hostile, and personally to me, that's not normal. That's not a normal behavior for someone to act in a certain way just because they hear about Jesus Christ. There's something more to it. Just saying.
And I had a philosophy professor who went to a seance. And at the seance, the medium told him things about his past that it took him 2 weeks to remember had even occurred. This philosophy professor came
And
to our
psychologists
class-
have done that too with sexual abuse cases where they convince their clients of never happened. So how do you know that's not the case? How can you prove that it's true?
You got to use your brain to figure out whether
Okay,
I'm
so
being
then that
irrational
means
or rational.
that's on the premise that you're using your brain.
Yeah, that is on a premise.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Why are you wasting your time listening to a guy who's just gibbering?
You're in our way.
You're missing my problem.
I'm
I'll
sorry,
answer
I
that
didn't
question.
realize that your
No.
ankle had a chain tied to the brick underneath
I'll answer
there.
that question.
I was under the impression that you chose to be here freely.
He did choose to be
Let me
here.
relieve you if you're being forced to be here.
Oh, I'm not. I'm enjoying
All
your
right.
company.
But listen, my problem here is you're here talking loud.
Man, people are weird sometimes, man. It's like you don't like it, you can just move on, go about your life. If you don't want to believe in Jesus, you don't have to. God's not gonna force you. You have free will. You're a free and moral agent. You do whatever you want. But it's just, man, I don't know. I just find it so strange for people to get so angry about something that they don't even believe in. I mean, if you don't believe in it, why are you getting so mad about it? Go about your business, you know? But, anyways.
First of all, you're not having a small conversation with the group that brought you here in a small room, which most groups have. You're obnoxiously on the center of campus, misguiding people about your belief in
baloney.
Jesus.
And I'm exercising my right of free speech. And if I tried to stand up in Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan and do what I'm doing now, I'd be in prison before I knew what my name was.
And it's a great thing I'm an American citizen and born on this soil.
Good.
Great thing, isn't it?
All right.
Now, what do you take that as right there? As blindly naming Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan?
Blindly? I'm not blindly at all.
That's ignorant. That's an ignorant move on your part. Because I have no correlation with Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan.
I didn't say you did.
Then why bring it up?
I'll tell you why.
Just random countries?
Because you two were challenging black. No, every time I try and answer you, you cut me off.
I'm not irrational.
Yes, you are. You don't really want to reason and think.
Yeah, it's true. If you were to go to those countries and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, I'm pretty sure they'd probably beat you over there. Either beat you, they would arrest you, because it's illegal, isn't it? They're Muslim countries. And I know there's Christians in those countries, but they can't openly be out there preaching the gospel, man. Like, because it's, their lives are in danger. So I mean, I think that's the reason why he brought that up. In America, we're free to do this, which, God bless America. Other countries, not so. I think that was his point he was trying to make.
Because
you
you're
just
not
want to
a
emote.
person to reason. I'm not emotional.
Oh, no?
I'm not emotional.
Oh, give me a break.
She is, man, big time.
I know my life.
You were challenging free speech. He said I was in his way.
No, I wasn't challenging. I was using my own free speech to question yours.
Oh, you can do that all day long. I respect that.
So then,
That's not-
And my point is, free speech is a right that we have in the United States of America.
Correct, and
that
in the
I
United
celebrate.
States, you look crazy right now.
Pardon?
Hold on
You
one
look
second.
crazy in the United States, and if you went to Iran or Iraq, you look crazy there as well.
So hold on.
Well, then why are you wasting your time talking to a crazy man?
Because you are just, it's just entertaining.
Entertaining.
What's your purpose here? Why are
Because
you
they had
here?
better entertainment on this campus than to talk to a
Have
crazy
you been to
man.
stores?
Got him.
Have you been to
That
stores?
was
You
pretty
guys are
good.
hurting people.
Why are you here? What did you come
I am here to introduce people to the closest friend I have, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there you go. That was pretty good. That was a good way to end it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the views. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.